Radio Network.
Want to go out to a movie? Or maybe watch a movie at home, but you can't decide on what to watch? Head on over to freemovieinformation.com. The movie trailers and descriptions for thousands of movies, both current and older, are all in one place. freemovieinformation.com. Thousands of movie trailers, one location. freemovieinformation.com.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the All Digital Radio Network. Whether you're a brand new listener or a longtime fan, you've probably noticed that we have quite a lineup. Do you have a business, an organization, or a group that needs global exposure? Have you been priced out of the traditional radio market, or are you seeking a new, innovative way to reach your customer base in this advanced digital age? Radio advertising is one of the most inexpensive and effective ways to get your message out to the mass public. We have advertising packages for almost any budget with the same quality you've come to expect from the All Digital Radio Network. Give us a call today at 312-324-0180, or you can email us at advertising@alldigitalradio.com. Let the All Digital Radio Network broadcast your business message to the world crystal clear.
Did you know that the federal government gives away over $400 billion in grants each year to private citizens like you? Go to findthegrant.com. These programs require no credit check, no collateral, no cosigner. What you need is the correct information found at findthegrant.com. If you're a U.S. taxpayer, you are entitled to your slice. Get the information to get started today. www.findthegrant.com.
You are listening to the All Digital Radio Network.
The virus has completely devastated over 150 of the world's major regions and is spreading rapidly. At this point in time, we know of only one method of killing the creatures going to destroy the brain. Be on the guard of any loved ones who may have recently been in any sort of contact with the infected. And if you find yourself in a threatening position, please do not hesitate to act. Again, this is not a test. This is not a joke. We as a species are overwhelmed. We are outnumbered.
Walker Wednesday starts now.
Oh my God, they're everywhere.
I don't even know if I can do this show anymore, Locke. It's just...
Well, do as much as you can.
Well... I'm so heartbroken at this point, and there's just... I can't do it. I think I'm going to have to leave
Were you that much of a Team Bethaholic?
Well, yes and no, but I mean... That was just the way she was, her head was just blown off in her face. And I mean, I don't have that big a TV, but that was graphic. And I'm just, I mean, the shock on my face, the shock on my wife's face. I mean,
hey, the shock on the actors' faces. I heard Norman Reedus cried for hours after that scene was over. And that was just the mid-season finale, man. Can you imagine what season 5 is going to end with?
Shit. Short of killing Rick,
oh no, not Judith.
No.
Oh yeah, but that would be just absolutely tragic. But there's just no, they're not going to kill Judith. I mean, that's the hope. I think we talked about this.
Don't ever say never.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, we talked about this. She's the hope. She is. If they lose Judith, there is absolutely no hope at that point. I mean, there really isn't. That's the way I look at it.
Well, to me, Beth sort of represented hope also. She was young. She had after that suicide attempt way back, then she turned real hopeful, and she helped transform Daryl. I was Team Beth.
Well, thank God Daryl never hooked up with her, because her last 2 boyfriends wound up Walker food. Poor Timmy in the RV when he was trying to get Rick out of the burning barn. That was her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sucks.
And then the other kid, when Bob was going for the wine and the thing fell down and all the walkers came through the roof with the helicopter on top.
Yeah.
That was her boyfriend.
Wow.
She was a Black Widow. Should have brought them all down.
I just can't believe it. I mean, we talked about it. You even said, Beth's going to die.
Well, that's what everybody was saying. I also said I thought they were going to bring Dawn into their fold, and it looked like they were going there too.
I know.
They were baiting me all during the episode, and then, Daryl wasn't having no part of that.
No, Daryl definitely was pissed.
I thought someone was going to stop Daryl, and he was too quick.
I think it was way too quick.
No, I could just see a Saturday Night Live skit when they're all sitting there crying, and Daryl's taking his time getting the gun up, and they're like, "No, dude, we're not going to stop you." And "Are you sure? Are you dude? They wouldn't have stopped him if they could.
Now, I'm surprised. I know we're jumping way ahead into the episode because this, of course, at the end. But I'm surprised that little lady girl cop on the other end, on the other side, was the one that was actually able to get those people, the cop people, to stand down. She didn't seem like the authoritative type by any way, shape, or form. And I thought you would see as soon as Dawn was dead, you would have seen that other dickhead cop be the one that takes over, the one that
Goldilocks.
Yeah,
I
figured he would have jumped in, but no. All of a sudden, you see, and maybe it was just the moment. Maybe that's all.
Well,
it was.
You kind of get the feeling it was Gorman and O'Donnell that were the rapey McRapist.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. They were the two jerks, but they're the ones that seem like they would now try to push into control and being the ones in charge. And now that Dawn's head is blown off like Beth's. I wasn't sad that Dawn died. Not at all. She deserved it. She was a bitch.
Oh, and she regretted what she did too. That was just reflex.
Oh yeah. Did you see her face? I mean, she was like,
she couldn't even draw on Daryl. She was just like, no.
Yeah, it was definitely an accident. I mean, she was not going to kill Beth, and she was going to let the exchange happen. I mean, that exchange, as long as the Noah aspect of it that got thrown.
She screwed it up. But we'll get to that. And we'll break that down.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. But I got breaking news.
Yeah, you wanted to jump into something, didn't you?
Yeah, we've talked about this a couple of times, but we all know at this point the Walking Dead is going to have a spin-off series. We don't know the actual title of the spin-off series.
You think you do?
It's tentatively titled Cobalt. You found an article or somewhere that said that that's not it. I'm glad it's not called
Cobalt. Somebody asked the producers or the bigwigs at AMC, and they were like, no. So that might just be, remember Farmville? They used to put code names on their new farm so we would know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Same thing. They're probably putting a code name on it with this code name Cobalt.
Yeah, and you know what? Cobalt, if that does become the series name, it doesn't interest me at all. I want it to be.
It's got to be Walking Dead, / something else.
Yeah, it's got to draw us back in. But the show is centered on a male divorce teacher and a female guidance counselor during the same period in which Rick Grimes and his group of survivors struggle in the zombie apocalypse. It doesn't tell us yet exactly where this is going to take place. They have said it's going to take place outside of Atlanta, so it's some other part of the country, whether it be up north where they've got to deal with snow or like somewhere New York City. I don't know.
Leaning toward liberal California. I don't know why, but I'm leaning toward liberal California because you've got, if you've noticed, they've only cast 2 characters.
Yes.
And one of them is the recovering junkie son of the lead actress or the lead female character, and the kind of I'll aspire to anything overachieving daughter of the same female lead. So it seems like they've already figured out this whole show is going to center around different attitudes in the family complex.
Well, there you go. Maybe it will be more based in this California, right in like downtown San Francisco, and we're going to get the whole. I mean, how much?
I'm thinking out in the valley somewhere, out in the suburbs. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how much? See, I don't remember much about season 1, season 2, and like the little nitty bitty. But did we see a lot of the actual inside of Atlanta itself, the city? Or did most of everything even just transpire and take place right outside in the country, or out in the rural areas?
Yeah, we saw downtown Atlanta a pretty lot.
Rick went down there and got his horse ate.
Oh,
And then they had to get out of the building where they left Daryl's brother handcuffed to the roof, and then they had to go back and try and rescue him.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, I
and
remember
then
all
we
that
saw
now.
that little street gang that was in the nursery home, or the nursing home, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went to the CDC, and then they fled, and now here they are, 5 years later, right back in bum frickin' Atlanta.
It's so scary. Look, I love when they show I-75, 85, just everything all deserted. Oh, creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Wendy has fond memories of truck stops on that road. So to see it all messed up like that is really spooky.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, think about that one day. I mean, even if it's not, the zombie apocalypse, and it's even just like the power grid apocalypse or any one of these things, and you're standing there looking out at one of these major interstates with cars just strewn everywhere, you know, and dead bodies, and it's a scary, scary thought.
Is anybody in the walkie-talkie box? Because we've got people saying they don't have sound.
Oh.
Well, we've got Beatrice saying she doesn't have sound.
Yeah, there's people in the walkie-talkie box, and they said that they're going to kill Judith sometime, and we were talking about Judith, so they're listening. They hear us. No one's bitching there.
Beatrice is trying to get in. It's okay.
Sorry about
reload.
that. But with the spinoff show, I would love to see them go outside of Georgia. I think a new setting, new terrain.
I'm sure even if they keep
great.
filming, because the production company is in Georgia, even if they keep filming in Georgia, the story itself may. I mean, they film in Turkey and say it's in downtown LA. It doesn't really matter to them.
I have heard, and I don't know where I heard this now. I don't remember. Maybe it was you, but I don't think
it was
you.
me last week. Go ahead.
Okay, about being somewhere in Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was going to be filmed.
Oh.
Well, you got to figure, maybe the producers want two locations so they can fly around the country and get different perspectives. But, chances are if they do keep it in Georgia, they could still say it's California or upstate, New York or Seattle or whatnot.
I have a very interesting theory for them. If they want to use, Pennsylvania, just head to Detroit. No, Detroit's not in Pennsylvania. It's Michigan, right? Yeah, it's not. Well, just go to Detroit. Don't go to Pennsylvania. Go to Detroit, because that place already looks like the zombie apocalypse.
Well, Zip's backyard. They could film there. I'm sure he'd let them.
Yeah, he would. He's got lots of woods and mountains and, neighbors like 6 miles away. But go to Detroit. It already looks like the zombie apocalypse there. There's houses everywhere. You just you film it.
I think that's the Democrat apocalypse. But that's for another show.
Yeah, that's Monday nights.
But I don't think they're going to go the way they did. This is just a theory. Nobody's released any kind of information on this show at all, except for two small characters that are going to be placed in there. One was a Harry Potter, and one was from only known for one other thing, and I don't even recall what that is right now. But I think this is going to be the family dynamic. You've got you're probably going to see some sexual tension between the male lead and the female lead, and both of them have kids that are grown from another marriage, and they're going to be regular people trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse, because a lot of the little
all
web
these
shows.
But all the characters that we now have in The Walking Dead were regular people at one point, just trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse. Now they've become
two
killers.
sheriff deputies. Then you had a special forces sergeant with
just regular people. I mean,
now you had a bunch of elite warriors that taught other people how to be warriors. You had the governor turn an entire town into basically an army. Now, I think we're going to see people trying to survive and deal with each other and kill the walkers instead of forming an army and clashing with other armies and going to war and having like machine guns with silencers. I think we're going to see regular people trying to sit back and survive.
Yeah,
I would like to see. Go ahead.
We had a little bit of that with the whole Rick, Shane, and Lori way back. See, I love that whole sort of drama, soap opera with that love triangle.
Here's what I would like to see, and this kind of gives you the best of all the worlds. Do that, but let's set up a town like we did with the governor. Set up one of those towns, and we have the entire setup of the family life in a town, surviving where, they have to send people out on a daily basis to go to other, little towns and get supplies and sends, and
there's two ways of doing that. I mean, we're seeing, like I said, the army and the machine guns and everything else. And there are, you watch Naked and Afraid, there are peace lovers. There are people that won't even kill a snake to eat it because they'll only live off the vegetation. But they know how to start fires. They know how to purify water. They know how to set up solar panels. They know how to do all this stuff to survive that doesn't necessarily mean killing people. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's going to go this direction. And it's going to show you that more of that survivor aspect.
But I think at any point in time, if you get to the point where there's zombie walkers, oh my God, chasing you.
Well, yeah, you've got to kill the
zombies,
but you don't have to kill each other. You don't have to kill other humans. But I'm sure they'll run into people that are, biker gang type mentality that are just going to want to run right over them, and they're going to have to either defend themselves or outsmart them. Now, are we going to see like a Doctor Who outsmarting? This group could be like a Doctor Who outsmarting all these, barbarian types, whereas the group we're looking at now in The Walking Dead just basically gets bigger guns and shoots their heads off and runs them over with a car. Run, Bob, run! That's our opening scene.
It was, too. Run, Bob, run. Boy, did he look like he was it just looked awkward.
He told him to stop. What else can you do?
Broke his back.
That was the, you heard of the pit maneuver? That was the ghetto backbreaker maneuver.
Wow.
It's awful.
I ain't going to tell you again, stop.
I gave him a chance. The one thing I was really surprised in that scene, Rick shot him. I didn't think Rick would have shot him. I thought Rick would have let him suffer more and let the walkers get him.
That's what I was...
Oh, Rick showed a little mercy there.
Yeah.
But then he blew his head off and told him to shut up. He was sitting there going, man, we've been civilized. You've been out here in the road. That's why you're all like this. You got to come back to us. And bam, shut up.
That was a great scene.
He said, you didn't have to be like this. You just had to stop. But I didn't know you. Well, you should have just stopped you to learn.
Just really thought he would have let the walkers eat him. That would have been revenge. But hey,
I do like that. I do like that gut slash. On his way to the patrol car, he let that one just,
Oh yeah,
poured out.
Yeah, that one's never going to get. That one's going to eat as much people as it wants. It's never going to get full now.
Awesome.
Oh, God.
Did we get to? I didn't watch Talking Dead. Was that involved on Talking Dead? Was that one in the
yeah, he was in the memorandum. Right. It was the rest in peace walkers.
Yeah. Even though he really didn't die, he just cut his intestines all out. But so yeah, run, Bob, run. Poor guy. Anyways,
so I guess we're trying to reason with him. But then we flash back to the church. Well, actually, we're not even at the church. We go to the dumbass of the year.
Oh,
actually,
God.
I know they got to do stuff to make it more interesting, but I'm sitting there telling them, I'm sitting there going, if you just stayed where the hell you were. But he goes back to the school.
And
Father
you called
Gabriel.
this. You called this, and I don't know if it was when we were talking on our Monday night show and pre-show or if it was actually here on this show, but you said he had to go back to that school to see which group was bad, if it was Rick's group or if it was
I didn't see that. I mean, I was looking for that, and this is what the actual the actor that plays Father Gabriel said, that he had to go back. But he goes and he looks at the Bible, and he seems a little happy.
Yes.
But like he wants the termites to be good people and Rick's group to be bad people. And then he sees Bob's leg, and he freaks out and gets upset. It's almost like he wanted the termites to be good people, and then they weren't.
But
that's what freaked me out.
But he did what you thought he was going to do. Was he needed to find out, and he needed to be sure which group was actually the good group, and was he with the right people. Now, the question I have, if the walkers hadn't broke out of the school, would he have still returned to the church now knowing that Rick and those guys...
Well, he's the reason the walkers broke out. Those walkers have been banging on that door, since the termites were camped out there having their barbecue.
Well, yeah.
And he fires them up. Did you notice they react? They react to sudden movements and, violent movements. They got fired up when they saw that. Just seeing somebody walk and I want to eat. But then when they see someone all active like that, they want to bust out. And then it's limp to the races.
Yeah.
He's still got a nail hole in his foot, and the walkers are walkers, so they ain't going so fast. So it was like limp. It's like that scene in Cockneys and Zombies. You ever see that movie?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, there was Cockneys. It's like a British redneck, and there was a group of people at the old folks' home, and one of them was in a walker. He couldn't move but one step every 30 seconds, and he was running away from a zombie who couldn't move that fast either through a whole scene that lasted about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I really didn't think he was going to get back to the church.
Yeah, of course he trips and he falls down. He trips over something, falls down.
He made it, though.
Well, he wanted to get back in the hole, but he got cut off.
Yeah. Well, he's standing by that tree with the carving on it.
And then I'm still not sure those carvings don't mean so. I don't know if termites did that. If termites did that or not, or the X-Men were there and Wolverine did it. It'll be a crossover. Wolverine, and that's what they said. Wolverine and Rick in the next crossover. But then I want to do my imitation of Father Gabriel.
Wait. Folks, turn your speakers down.
Do my imitation of Father Gabriel when he couldn't get back in the hole. I'd scream like a 9-year-old girl.
It was bad. It was bad. And of course, who comes to the rescue?
Michonne.
And who else? Get his name right there. Get his name.
Carl. Yeah, they were all boarded up. They had everything. That was a good plan too, because only a few walkers at a time could get by that, and the dumbass has to take one of the organ pipes and use it as a weapon. So that's what gave him the gap to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had a good little system there. They wouldn't have been able to get in.
Yeah, he had it all set up, or they had it all set up.
I love Michonne breaking down that door with the axe and slashing all those walkers with little Judith is on her back.
Yeah.
In the papoose. That was great.
Yeah, but they eventually, I for a while I was like, she's got this. She'll just get them all. But they just kept.
They did a widescreen, and you could count maybe a dozen or more with even more behind them. I mean, he brought a whole parade procession down on them.
Well, like you said, previously in another show, they don't stop. They don't have to sit down and take a nap. They just keep walking. Once they see you, they just keep going and going and going and going and going.
Little Walker Energizer bunnies.
Yeah, they don't stop. I mean, so there was literally a lot more than I thought there was going to be. So what they did, they ran.
Gabrielle, Father Gabriel had enough sense to say, let's go into my office, my rectory, and then there's a hole in the floor, and they kind of figure out what the hell he did, and then Carl goes through with Judith, and then Michonne goes through, and then Father Gabriel tries to be heroic for once in his life, and then we have the miracle machete walker.
Oh, yeah. The one that kind of like lunged forward and fell.
Would have got him if it wasn't for that machete and goes right head first into the machete and splits her open. Yeah. Now, I want to know how the hell did Father Gabriel come out with the machete? Because if he would have tried for that thing, another walker would have bit his arm off.
Ooh, good question.
And they're good with the details here. I don't know how he was able to get that machete and get down that hole before the rest of them got him.
Did you go back and rewind and
no, it didn't show it at all. He splits the head. They're outside. Father Gabriel runs out of the hole, and he's got the machete in his hand. There is no...
was the machete not already in his hand when he jumped down into the hole?
The machete was in the floor, and the walker falls on the machete and splits her head wide open. Then it cuts to the outside.
And he comes out with it.
And he comes out with a bloody machete.
Oh,
I don't see how... they got some explaining to do. You're right. And then, of course, Carl and Michonne, take charge and kill the strays and lock up the rest of them in the church. And they're
they belt the door closed and put some boards up again, don't they?
I don't know if I'd be hammering a nail with my gun in the zombie apocalypse.
I know.
I'd find a rock or something or keep hold of a hammer. I'd definitely have a tool belt. If I'm in a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to have my flashlight on there, my screwdriver on there, my ice pick, my hammer.
Well, I was wondering where they found those nails to nail the door shut, but...
Normally in zombie movies, they reuse the nails from different parts of the house. They'll pull it out of one thing...
Put it in their pocket.
Put it in their pocket and then reuse the nails.
or they've gotten nails, from not at the church, but when they go on their little supply runs, I'm sure that there's still places that might have nails.
Why don't they pick up a tool belt? I don't ever see anybody with a tool belt.
Hey, maybe you'll see that in the new show. Maybe we'll see more of the everyday, going on the supply runs and someone having a tool belt.
I'd have me a Batman utility belt tool belt.
There you go.
But now,
is this when the fire truck pulls up?
No, shh. Then we go back to Atlanta.
Okay.
I give you show notes. All you got to do is read them. Now,
they're
Rick, talking about some explaining to do. Now, Rick's got to explain to the rest of the group, and Tyrese is sitting there taking care of Tasha. She just got knocked out. And then that's another thing. How the hell did nobody harp about this? That man knocked Sasha out cold. That is male on female violence, and nobody had any kind of uproar whatsoever because it was a zombie apocalypse. He beat that woman. He knocked her out. And by the way, the NFL did release a statement today saying they have not yet seen that video.
Yeah, but you know what? At this point in time, I don't really look at any of them as women. They're all badasses, and it's not.
Oh, she did have a sniper rifle. I'll give her that.
Yeah, it's not like you're hitting your dolled up wife that's dripping gold and her nails are done and she's wearing a thong and no, I'm sorry, this is a zombie apocalypse. If you're gonna carry around a sniper rifle, you need to step up and be able to take one. And I'm not being mean. A man should never hit a woman in real life, but this is survival of the fittest, and that guy did what he thought he needed to do to survive, and that was to take Sasha out.
He didn't have a very good plan. I mean, what was his plan?
I guess
run, Bob, run.
I guess his plan was to get run over. Worked out well. But we see Tyrese taking care of Sasha's, busted up head again, and Rick trying to force his plan A on Daryl because, now the plan's all busted up because they killed one of theirs.
Yeah, and that's when the other two decide, hey, we're all on the same team here. We'll lie, basically, and, walkers, right?
And I don't know who writes Daryl's lines, but that's the best writer in the whole show because Daryl just walks in and says, "You were against this. What changed?" And then that's all he's got to say. And then they got to talk for like 15 minutes explaining their damn selves. This guy should have been like a guidance counselor or something. No, but they're convinced. Even Baldylocks Lakari, he's convinced. The rotters. That's what they call them, rotters.
Rotters.
Yeah.
There was one webisode thing where they called them KIAs, and I can't remember what that stood for now. I'm going to have to watch that again. But I love all these different names they come up with. Different groups have different names for them.
Well,
but now,
there's no way to communicate back and forth. We don't have our Twitter or
we
Facebooks
don't. We should have Twitter in
Instagrams. Yeah, they can't say, well, hey, we're calling them walkers down here in Atlanta. What are you calling them up there in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, you got to hashtag them. You got to hashtag walkers.
What did they call them? What did the governor call them? I can't remember.
Man.
I don't remember. Now, someone in the shout box will get to us in about 30 seconds and answer that, I'm sure. Yeah, he had another name for him, too.
Yeah,
I'm sure some people call them the dead. And like I said, they were KIAs in one, and it didn't mean killed in action. It meant something else.
You just can't call them zombies. That's all.
Yeah, because apparently in this world, there are no zombie movies. In a couple of zombie movies, they say, shoot them in the head. That's what they do in all the other zombie movies. And it works. But that's only in like the funny ones that are like mocking other zombie movies. But now we go back to the boring part of the show, which is the hospital. And we got to watch.
Oh, yeah. Dawn's riding around there on her little bicycle thing. And what Beth was doing? Was she folding laundry or something? I don't remember. I know she was doing something there.
She was cleaning up the desk.
That's what it was. And Dawn was riding on the bike.
That's when we start talking about Captain Hansen again. And honestly, I got the idea because, everybody knows Dawn killed Captain Hansen because he was losing it. And he was, I don't think he was losing his mind and, he was getting nervous or he was, having a nervous breakdown or whatever. I honestly think listening to this episode, and we'll never probably see this again anywhere because we'll never revisit these characters now when they move on. But I think Captain Hansen was trying to save people, and he was using their vital resources to save innocent people, and some of his guards were getting hurt, and they didn't want to do that crap anymore. They just wanted to look out for themselves, and that's why Dawn killed him. They hinted to that several times in this episode.
Well, that's a good theory, because they made a big deal when we first started seeing the hospital about, only saving people that were worth it because of the resources that they had limited resources. So that's...
And I think, Captain Hansen was a police captain his whole life, protect and serve. So he was out there trying to save everybody he could, even if they were missing a leg or missing an arm or they were, fell off a building or whatever. He was out there putting 10 of his officers at risk to save one person, and they were like, screw this. And Dawn finally said, hey, boom, you're dead. I'm in charge now. We're not doing that anymore.
You did see some more of the control freak in Dawn in the office scene with the picture there, because she didn't put it where it was supposed to go, and she wanted it up by the badges.
Yeah, she's OCD extreme, They could have really used her character and developed it for seasons to come, but nope. Now Wendy can talk about the fire truck.
Oh, didn't all of a sudden, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, a little bit before that. Actually, Father Gabriel starts to explain why he went back to the school, but he never gets a chance because the walkers start trying to burst out of the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got through that shitty old wood.
Now you can talk about it.
Yeah, Team Greatum to the rescue. That fire truck, perfect timing. I mean, they were about to get out of the church. What would Michonne and Gabriel and Judith and Carl, what would they have done?
Carl, run, Carl.
They would have just run.
You're never safe, Carl.
They would have been fine. They would have, ran away and got away. I don't know if Gabriel would have made it with his limping and all, but
I shot him in the leg and let them eat him.
Yeah, you're right. But I like your little show note here. That fire truck must be really quiet because, you're right.
I mean, Michonne kind of looks up and sniffs around like she can smell it, but she don't hear it.
She can smell it.
Look at it. Look at the episode again. She kind of looks up. She raises her nose. She takes a little sniff, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, but you think of the zombie apocalypse when there's, especially out in the middle of nowhere like they are, where there's no noise, no power, nothing going on. You'd hear a fire truck coming down the road going 80 miles an hour like they probably were. I can't believe they made it back. Most of their vehicles don't last more than, 4 or 5 miles?
Yeah. So they had to make it at least 20 or 30 miles back to the church.
Yeah, and they slam in front of the door and block the walkers, and they all jump out.
The thing was, Eugene was riding shotgun. All of a sudden, he's face-to-face with walkers. That was funny. I'm not Eugene, but Glenn. All of a sudden, he's face-to-face with walkers going, dude, what the hell?
And Eugene's like conked out in the back seat.
Eugene hadn't woke up yet. I'm surprised he's still not laying under that tent. And did you see the nasty look Abraham gives Eugene in the rearview mirror? He's still like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, that was good.
They catch up real quick. Eugene lied. Oh, cool. Now we know what happened. Why couldn't they have just, skip that whole episode and just had Glenn come back and go, Eugene lied? That would have, they could have saved a whole hour. We could have had more, Tara on Rosita action or some kind of stuff like that.
I guess for Maggie in there, too.
And Maggie.
You said go for all three.
Eugene lied. Beth is still alive. Woo! And Maggie actually shows some emotion for her sister for the first time all season.
Mm-hmm. Strange.
Yeah, she did. She was kind of excited, relieved, happy. I know it's hard to say exactly what she was. What would you be in that case? Excited? I mean, I'd still be scared. Just because they found her doesn't mean that.
Right.
No, obviously that's going to be a happy ending.
And they said some other people have her, but we're going to rescue her. So I don't know. Yeah, it's not certain.
My girl Tara only gets one line in the whole show. Let's go get your sister back.
Yeah, it comes from her. But I found it that they didn't elaborate more on the whole the lie, the Washington lie at all. It was just left as, he lied.
Well, he kind of started it, and then before Michonne could ask any more questions, she spots Maggie and goes, "Oh, Maggie, guess what?" Kind of like brushes Glenn off. Right. Kind of brushes. They write this show extremely well because we're asking these questions and they're already a step ahead of us. She spots Maggie and goes, "Oh, Maggie, guess what? Your sister's alive."
Yeah.
It's an extremely well-written show. Hopefully they'll do the other show like that too.
Well, I hope so.
It's more well-written in this season than it was in the past 4 seasons. So hopefully they're over their sophomore hump, and this second show will start out just as dramatic as the show we're currently in.
I just wish we could get some more information about it. Just a little more of what they're going to do.
I have to dig in next week because we're not going to have a show. We're not going to have a show next week unless we talk about the first show because we didn't have our show on the first show.
Yeah, but that would kind of be redundant.
Well, we didn't break it down to make fun of it. Maybe we can spend 20 minutes doing that, or we'll just put a rerun on.
Who knows?
Or we'll let Wendy do the show. Wendy and CB, that's just a match made in heaven right there.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, if there's a riot somewhere in the United States, we'll just do a live show of that. That seems to work out well.
We'll just compare it to an apocalypse every 5 minutes to stay on track.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah, next time there's a riot, y'all need to do that again.
Well, there's one right now in New York City.
Yeah, there's one now.
Almost.
Times Square, I guess.
Oh, there's one here in downtown Greensboro, too. They're all gathering in support of the New York riot.
Oh, my God.
And it's Wednesday night in downtown Greensboro, so they're probably stopping 3 cars from going to where they want to go. What? Downtown's blocked off? Well, it must be a walkathon, right? No. What is it, a March of Dimes? No. Well, okay, I wasn't going down there anyway, so no big deal. But my favorite character gets his scene next.
Which one is that?
Strawberry Joe.
Oh.
Percy got knocked on his buttocks.
Yeah.
And that was just a vehicle to show how shitty.
Bullying an old man. Come on.
Well, that whole scene was just a vehicle to show, because we stayed with Grady for like the next 3 scenes, even though it cuts to different parts of the hospital. That was just a vehicle to show what a dick Officer O'Donnell was, because they don't really have a lot of time to build every one of these characters. So one quick scene like that, showing him knock the old man down. Strawberry Joe, come on, man, it's Percy. I'm surprised Percy didn't go with him.
I know. Yeah.
Well, but why spend a whole bunch of time building these characters at all?
Well, they're not spending a whole bunch. They're spending literally seconds.
Well, right. But still they're really giving us a lot of. We're seeing a lot with them, because of how well the show is written. But why bother? These are characters.
Well, it explains why Dawn did what she did and how complex her character was. To just say, "Oh, she's evil. Oh, she shot Beth. Oh, blow her head off." But no, now we have she really is good, but she didn't look at the evil and she let it slide. And now this next scene where we see her and Beth at the elevator shaft and talk about getting over your phobias after she done went down that thing and crawled over those dead people. She's just hanging off of it now. And Beth's sitting there talking to her, and the other officer overhears that she knows Beth is the reason why Gorman was dead, and that was Gorman's partner in crime right there, O'Donnell.
Yeah.
So that was a good fight scene.
Great fight scene. Boy,
she's
Dawn.
pretty badass.
Yeah.
Punched him in his throat.
I didn't think she was probably going to be that well trained. I figured, especially since she's the one that always stays back and thinks she's, the hot shit.
Well, she's a lieutenant, and you hear her talking right before they start going at it. They were partners, they were rookies together. She watched this guy's son being born in that same hospital, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, but I know a lot of lieutenants on our police force that couldn't kick someone's ass.
Well,
you got to still stay in shape, stay in
she's
training.
On
she
that
just
damn,
shape.
she's on that
she's
damn,
riding that treadmill or cycle.
That little cycle thing, every damn episode.
Yeah.
Oh, she does stay in shape, but I don't know. I just didn't see that much spunk and fight in her. But
yeah, you don't know what she did before. She might have been the female officer that had to take Taekwondo classes to keep up with the male officers. You never know. But hey, she had a little kick in her.
She did.
And she kicked her. Well, actually, she made Beth kick O'Donnell down the shaft.
Which Beth made comment to later on about that. Didn't she?
Yeah. Because we're still, next scene, but we're still with Beth, but now we're with Beth in Carol's room, and Dawn comes in with a bottle of hooch. I think she was trying to get Beth to take advantage of her. I really do.
It was out of her private stash.
Yeah, she said, no, this won't be no charge for this. This won't go on your record. You won't have to pay this back. She was trying to be nice. And, Beth was like, oh, you make other people do your dirty work so you can still sleep at night and blah, 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 blah. So that's how everybody does around here. And then she knew that's what Edwards did to Trippett, or Doctor, as I call him. Everybody makes somebody else do their dirty work around. And the wards end up doing the dirty work. That's what's so dysfunctional about grading.
Yeah.
And then she has to say Noah will be back. And we know how that ends up later.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do.
But you see, Dawn, she wants to do what's right, and she's even before she, went at it with O'Donnell, she said, "No more. I'm not going to look the other way while you push down old men and rape that poor girl." But was she saying that because she meant it, or because Beth was listening? That's what got me. It's almost like she was putting on a show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, she's trying to be the good and she's, even before she gets killed, she's going, no, she didn't mean to do that. It's like she wanted to be the good guy, and she got pulled to the wrong way. Her character really got developed a lot, so you felt a little bit more when she got killed, instead of it just, oh, that's the bad guy got killed, yay. No, you're a little bit torn now when the bad guy gets killed. And scenes that put, like O'Donnell and Gorman, those two characters added to her character to tell that story.
See, but I'm not torn with her death. Not at all. Not one bit.
I thought she was going to get blended into the group.
Which would have been...
I liked her.
Which would have been an interesting situation. But it didn't matter whether it was on purpose or whether on accident. The second she killed Beth, there was no feeling bad, and you knew she was going to die at that moment. Even before what's his name Daryl killed her, I knew, even in that split second, she's dead. Someone's going to kill her. She's
but
dead.
The way they wrote it, the look on her face, like I didn't mean.
Oh yeah,
made you think. The writers made you think for a split second she might live. Mm-hmm. But then a split second later, they giveth and they taketh away.
There was no way she was going to live that. Oh, no way. Ooh, I'm so sad. I need a sad song. I don't know.
But
everybody hurts.
Oh no.
Sometimes.
Oh wait. Here we go. I got a sad one.
That's for Beth and Dawn. Oh, and Run Bob Run.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm telling you, Rick came back cool as slicker and snot this damn week. He did. He took control of that group again.
He did. I mean, he definitely. He's the one that walked forward with who was the last one that he exchanged? Was it the girl or the guy?
Well, no, we're still outside with him now. I want to know how
we're not at the deal yet.
How did he pull those two cops in? Because they already had their sniper nest set. They saw the cops coming to the vantage point, as they called it. We saw that purple bag flying like a flag. Is that how they lured them in?
Wondered what that flag was. They prominently showed it.
I don't think they lured him in, but
they're looking for stuff, and when all of a sudden you look over the same cityscape, and all of a sudden you see a purple bag flying in the wind like that, and then all of a sudden those two cops drive up. I think they put that bag up there to say, "Hey, come here," because Franco and McGinley show up.
Yeah,
that could be.
Did you notice the look on the one cop's face? I think it was McGinley, the black cop. When he said, Carol's the one you just ran down yesterday. And he looked at him like, you son of a bitch, you ran somebody down.
I guess I didn't see it.
Oh, he gave him a nasty look. Like, half the cops there want to do the right thing. The other half are just bastards looking for wards to polish their shoes and polish their tallywhackers and everything else.
Willy warmers. No, tallywhackers. Wrong show.
Poor Wendy's been shopping since Monday trying to find the willy warmers for all of her boyfriends.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
I like the reindeer ones that you sent.
I tacked that right on your wall.
I saw it. I liked
There's
it.
a candy cane one. Yeah.
Wendy has all the flavors. Don't.
If you want to know what a willy warmer is, offtalkradio.com. That's all we'll tell you.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Anyway. That whole scene was just set up cool. I mean, where's the rest of your people? Boom, the walker's head goes flying off. They're around.
I love that. And the guys looking on the rooftops. Oh.
They lower their gun about a 1/4 inch in respect. That's when Rick retook this show. And he goes, I'll wait right here while you call your lieutenant. And he just kind of like, this ain't no big deal. This is like waiting outside a store at the mall for gelato or something.
Yeah, this was nothing for him. Nothing at all.
And then a lot of the story they cover a lot of stuff, but the next thing we see is Beth back in her street clothes, getting ready to go out and get swapped because apparently they've already radioed back and forth and they've already...
Yeah, we missed all that. Yeah, we missed all that part.
Don't know if it was actually filmed and hit the cutting room floor. They just decided to leave that out. And she's putting the scissors up underneath her cast.
Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't know then if I was still confused. Are they coming to get her, or is this But the street clothes, that kind of gave me the idea that yes, they were
Yeah, they knew exactly who was going and who was coming back. They knew,
and I thought
they knew what
maybe
the
she
trade
was
was.
she's just smuggling out the scissors.
You knew exactly then she was going to kill somebody. If it wasn't Dr. Edwards, it was going to be Dawn.
Now, why kill Dr. Edwards, though?
She was about to kill him last episode. I don't think she likes him.
Yeah, but he's never done any harm to her.
He made her kill that guy.
Well, but I don't know. I think he's
At this point, it's not actually someone physically hurting you in that hospital. It's someone mentally abusing you, and that's what they both were doing to Beth.
That's true.
With those damn head games they were playing. And that's what was really getting to her. Those head games, not necessarily the violence.
She's young. I mean, and she's already, we know from previous episodes that she's suicidal. And she's just, this is tough. How old is she supposed to be in the show? I mean, I know 17. How old she is in real life. That's what I thought, like 16, 17.
And she's a pretty fucked up little 17-year-old.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, imagine, she lived on a farm. I mean, she lived in a country, rural farm setting, where she didn't experience the big city life. And now
when Maggie came home from college and she found Maggie's birth control pills, she took them and threw them in the lake and fed them to the ducks or some crap like that.
Yeah, she's a kid. I mean, she was a kid, and she had to grow up really, really fast. I mean, it's like my mom and dad, when they got divorced, I was, 15, 16, and I was beyond where it was a pain in the ass, but my brother was like 11 or 12, and, he really had to grow up like really, really quick because just the way it was and the way things happen. And in this situation, everybody else we've seen in this show was in the, they're older, they're they can all drive, they've all handled guns, they've, or maybe not handled guns, but they've been around that stuff. And then you've got Beth, she's the baby. Mm-hmm. Besides Judith,
Well, she was the baby.
Yeah.
But you seem to be attached to this Officer Shepard, and she backs up that Lamson story that he was eaten by rotters.
Oh yeah.
And even Lacari goes for it too.
Yeah. Well, do you think do you think Dawn believes them though? She kind of had a look on her face.
Yeah, she did.
Because she didn't want. That's her big deal. She can't look weak in front of her people. But her people are the ones giving her this information. So it's kind of like when you go into a pissing contest with somebody in your family. Well, I know, and I know, what are you doing? And it doesn't make any sense. It makes sense to you in the argument, but if you're listening from the outside, it's like you're very, very petty. She's looking at her officers tell her this going, oh, well, if you throw this in my face 6 months from now, I'll just say you're the one that told me. It's almost like she was justifying her upper role.
Ah, right. I see.
But then she's got to go one step further. But notice when they gave Carol back, they gave her her bag of guns and everything too.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, when her wheelchair, the officer rolled her out and had her bag and everything. And notice how Rick held Shepard till the end because she was more important than Lakari.
Okay. I wondered why they didn't trade the woman first.
See, because Dawn, we find out Dawn is really more on Lamson and Shepard's side, but everybody thinks Dawn is more on Rapey McRaper and O'Donnell and Lakari's side. Mm-hmm. So Rick's assuming she's the one that's behind all the evil when she's just the one accepting the evil to make everybody else happy. But so he holds Shepard because he figures that's the one she's really going to want.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dawn has got to have Noah. And my big question is, why the hell couldn't Noah just stay back in the other damn building and not even be in the hallway to be there to be wanted in the first damn place?
Right.
Yeah, he should have never even, because they asked way back when the cops met Rick, they said, you have Noah, and I don't remember who said yes. I think Rick said yes.
Basically, you know all our names because you got Noah, is what he was saying.
Yeah, wow.
Say you heard you got all this from Noah, didn't you?
Yeah,
you're right. He should have just stayed back.
But that would not have made good TV. They would have just made the deal and walked out, and then everybody would have been happy, and there wouldn't have been no season drama, ending finale drama, crap.
Beth wouldn't have went up and stabbed her with the scissors.
Well, Noah says, "Okay, I'll go back. I'll go back. No problem. I'll go back and eat Jell-O and wash Dawn's panties for the rest of my life."
Oh my gosh.
But then, there's Beth with the little scissors up in her cast, and Big Mouth Dawn's got to say it again. She can't leave well enough alone. She's got to be the big dog. She's got to have the final word. She's got to, come out, bigger in this deal than Rick to save face with her people. Partly because she's probably a female in a man's world, being a police officer and a lieutenant. She's probably had to do that her whole life. She's probably had to, be 10 times bigger than she really is just to look even. You always hear about that. Mm-hmm. But then she's got to say, "I knew you'd be back," and that just cracked Dawn.
Oh, the look on Beth's face. When she says it, if looks could kill.
She walks up to her and all she says was, "I get it now."
Yeah.
And what I just said, she's got to project that image. She's got to be more than she really is. And then she gets stabbed in a bulletproof freaking vest, but she gets probably her upper shoulder, doesn't get her heart.
That's what it looked like. It looked like her upper shoulder.
Doesn't get her heart at all, just hurts her, but, I guess she draws her gun. She is a quick draw, though, if she didn't already have that gun out, because they had all holstered their guns.
It looked like, she had to have had it in her holster, and that was fast.
She's a butt kicker and a quick draw artist. So what are you going to do?
It was almost like a reflex.
And all you saw was the back of Beth's head blowing out.
Oh,
but splattered all over Rick.
Rick jumped back, which is it wasn't just getting hit with warm blood. It was getting hit with Beth's warm blood, and the look of pain. This is what really you got to stop and think about, because we're watching a show on television, sitting in our recliners, sipping on our Pepsi-Colas or whatever we got, our Yoo-Hoos or whatever. Well, when Wendy sips on a Yoo-Hoo, it's different, but that's another for another show. But the look of pain on their faces, and they've had dozens and dozens and dozens of people, their friends, their family, their wives, their whatever, their kids die, but the look of pain on their face when they lost Beth.
Yeah.
I mean, it just etched in.
Yeah.
She was the baby.
They were going there to save her. Well, they're going to save her and Carol, but the reason why Carol was even there was because they were trying to save her in the first place. Oh. And then your buddy, Officer Shepard.
Hey, the fire truck again comes rolling in.
No, well, Shepard cooled things down the hallway, and then we see Gradum come back. That fire truck seems to get places just right when it's supposed to.
It does.
I mean, did the Germans schedule that fire truck? I mean, it runs like on clockwork, exactly
Right.
where they should be, when they should be.
But it delivers bad news to poor Maggie.
Maggie's all hopeful and anticipation. And
Well, you got right before that scene, you've got Shepard. He says, "We'll take you all in. You know, it's better in here." And Rick says, "No, it ain't." And any of you people back there, you know, right in Shepard's face, any of you people back there that want to leave, you can come with us now. And then you see them proceeding out, and you've already got the fire truck crew, Graydon plus Carl, Judith, Michonne, and Dumbass of the Year, Gabriel, all marching through that little area where you see the FEMA tents and so forth. And you see Rick just shaking his head. And then as soon as Rick gets by, you can see Daryl holding Beth, and Maggie just loses it. That was the scene where everybody lost it.
yeah.
Not when
Yeah.
Beth died, but when Maggie reacted to it.
Ah, that was powerful.
Well,
Yeah.
she's lost her father. Now she's lost her sister. Well, she's lost her mother, her father, her sister.
Yeah, her mother was in the barn.
No,
Her
no,
dad-
her mother died. Her mother died. Oh yeah, she was in the barn, but she died before Rick's team got to the farm.
Yeah, yeah. And then the
I would like to
dad
round your family up and throw them in a barn and feed them every couple of days. I mean,
Well, they feed them raw chickens every couple of days too. Well, by Yosemite, they're gonna come back one day. That's what the old man was saying.
by the way, our chat box is gone. Chatwing's having issues. I don't know. Chatwing's having issues.
Oh, so sad.
well, did anybody from the hospital? Did anyone come with them?
Just
Not that
Noah.
we know.
Just Noah.
Well,
That boy
why didn't-
cannot make up his freaking mind, can he?
Ah,
Okay, I'm not going. I'm running away. Okay, I'm coming back. Okay, Rick says I can go with him now. I mean, pick a lane, dude.
why didn't any of those? Well, I guess the hospital people. They figure, like they said, they're surviving.
Yeah, it's safe there. But we're running out of time. Big questions. What does this do to Daryl's new, softer attitude? Because now, he tried to take the high road. He tried to save people's lives, and Beth got killed, and that affected him more than it probably affected anybody else besides Maggie.
There's going to be some anger.
Oh yeah, you can. I think
Big
we
time.
saw. I think we saw a preview of him at Beth's grave in the next episode. And how does Maggie deal with it? She's been strong too, and now does she break apart? And my biggest question before we run out of time: how does this rebond the group? Because in Redemption, we saw half the group slaughter the Terminites, and the other half look at them like, who are these bloodthirsty, crazy people? And now, this episode seems to bond them together even tighter than they've ever been.
Yep.
Oh, and real quick, you want to talk about this, Slim? We got 3 minutes and 41 seconds of bonus footage at the end of the show. Remember
I thought the show was
credits?
over.
The credits cut?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
it was weird.
And then we got to see Morgan.
Morgan give his goo-goo cluster and his rabbit's foot and pray, and then he finds Rick Grimes' name on that map.
Yep. And sees Washington. But we are out of time, so we'll might be here next week. We might not. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But
We'll let
You
you
want-
know. Keep watching. You never know.
if you want Farmville news, join Locke and his team Sunday nights, 8 o'clock. If you like pop culture or politics, join Ziploc, CB and myself, Monday nights, 10 o'clock for Off the Hook Radio. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Perfect.